Hey, little shop tech here. This came off of a 64 Ford Fairlane. These are extremely rare. This whole thing was busted up. It was broke. This tab here is broke, the stem off of here. The glass is in good shape with the trim, but since it's busted down here, okay, there it is right there. It's done, it's gone. So we got us a replacement. Not to mention the seals are hard as a rock and stuck, and then their answer to it, whoever this guy was, see this right here? They RTV'd it with clear RTV. So I got to cut it and clean all this off, and then we've got to use like a fine steel wool and then buff it. Now somewhere I have an RTV latex sealant removal spray. I just don't know, and I want to let it glide. If I have to, I'll put some oil on here, some Earl, because I don't want to scratch and score this, okay? But then once that's off, I'll get my steel wool, and I'm gonna come over here. See that right there? That's all the sealant. But then eventually, with some elbow grease, don't know what that is. That's work. And we come in here, okay? I want you to see this. Let me get that little piece right there. Okay, so from this to this, we gotta clean all that up, oil this up, probably put this, we'll have to tape this off, wrap it in some paper or cellophane. We need to make sure that, because I wouldn't mind hitting this with the media blast. Do not do it to glass, you'll etch it. And then we're gonna spray this with it's called T9, and it is a metal spray. I think it was developed for aircraft. It not only lubricates, it absorbs into metal and keeps it from rusting. And then we're gonna change the knob. There's a roll pin here. Her original is in better condition. This one's a little pitted, but this particular one, you're gonna have to get some tape. That one's marked. But I wanna mark this one. This is our driver's side. So we have to clean all the shiznits off. And then, once that's done, we got to take the A-frame and we have to install our new seals, our weather strips, and then we have to install our track strip, which goes all the way down the line. And then make sure all this is nice and straight and oiled up, and then reinstall it, and then finish off with the door handles, the regulators, adjust the windows, and make sure everything's going up and clear. Grease it. We'll probably have to use like beeswax so everything slides well. Everything works. And then pop on our handles, Bob's your uncle, and we're done. And then we'll probably have to wait another month or two for her to come up with the funds. She wants it done, but funds aren't ready available. Not ready available for a lot of us in this economy. I get it, but it is what it is. You can't get around it. I don't have a genie in the bottle to snap my finger. So there you have it. So we're gonna continue. You're gonna continue, the guy behind the camera, and we're going to clean all this off. Look at this. It's only work. Oh my Lord. What was the Italian say? Oh Maron. All right.
What we got here today, Jim?
Oh, vent window rebuild for our 64 Fairlane. We've already previously rebuilt, cleaned the glass, greased this up with, actually sprayed it with a T9. It absorbs in the metal. Made sure we replace the missing nylon. To upper and bottom, there is a flat type of washer. It's a stop. And then there's the spring and then stainless flat washer and a nut. That's a nylock, so that keeps that firm. And then after that was done, we had to gut out all the material that was like rock. Okay, these actually had been glued with a silicone. They were non-functioning, and the passenger side we got lucky because the stem was broke. So there they are, and this up here gets adjusted, and then this is the channel from the vent itself, and then these you buy and you cut to length. They've already got the felt, and I got some extra felt to put you know, in areas where I need it. This actually is like a plastic material or polymer, and it will melt just like nylon. In fact, that's probably what it is. So here's an original. We had to drill and punch this out, and you just need to drill to the inside and then you punch that out. If you overdo it, then that hole gets too big. And then I'll show you what we're going to do here. So there's the relief cut. We actually didn't need like 3/16 of it, and that clears up here. We have this one here which doesn't really touch or contact with anything. This actually got riveted in, this new seal along that line, and this was the relief cut, but you don't need it. As this thing gets pressed in, it will not come in contact. So we drilled out our old rivets. We've already marked and drilled for our new bracket. They're identical to both sides, with the only exception that the L bracket over here actually will spin 180. So we've got those holes just right, just tight, and then we fished them in with this. We used a larger drill to cut out the excess, and then took the razor blade and cut out any excess of the material so it don't obstruct in between our bracket and where we're going to be riveting. So now this guy comes over here, okay, and that goes down like that. There's another tool that I had, but they broke it, this thing, but it don't work, it's too big. So what I ended up doing, and for those of you that have been there, done that before, you'll notice that this tip and this outer, see how it's concaved in there? Okay, that's to roll over the rivet. But you'll notice they come out the same level. Now, if you take a good look, you see how my tip is coming out a little more? Just like a 32nd of an inch, 32 of an inch. And at 30 seconds. That's because I took this to a lathe and milled this down. So when I come down, see that? Boom. Oh shoot, I did that prematurely. I got to replace that and drill that out. So all right, we're back. Let's not do that again. So we're gonna come in here. We got our bracket in place, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, one more. Just straight and flush down. Okay. See that? Nothing. No, I mean no play. Then we're to come in here, straighten that out. And this is okay. This doesn't really require, just don't want it winging out that much. Okay, so good. There we go. So your window's going to start up this track, okay? It's going to go all the way up here. The problem we're having is that this thing fits so damn tight from the factory, and it was a pain getting out. What we're going to do is, because this guy goes right in here like this now, and again, I don't need that relief cut for this because it's not even going to come in contact. So this guy right here goes in like that. And what we're going to do is, we're going to slide this assembly down with the glass in place, but we're going to use a dialithic grease or even petroleum jelly. Once you get that on there, that should help grease it up to where you can slide, because once this is in, that fits pretty tight. And that's the whole problem we're having, trying to get this whole assembly in without damaging. And also, there's a section on the door we're not going to fix because we're not repainting this car, and it's broke. And it links the door together, the inner and the outer panel. There's already a bunch of drilled holes, so, you know, it is what it is. Does it suck that it's cracked and broke like that? Yeah, but it's not something that we're going to address. But what we can do once this is in place, we can take a clamp and squeeze this down up to the seal, and then we're going to use like a black urethane, which is commonly used for installing and gluing in windshields, modern windshields. So we got 2 mounting holes here once this is installed, actually 3, 1, 2, and 3, and that's what's going to hold this assembly in place. The inside, on the inside panel, is fine. It presses up against here just fine. But it's the outside we're worried about, because all that water and rain is just going to wash in the door. You're going to have this huge gap and it'll look stupid. So I guess you want to start putting this in?
Yes, sir.
Here, let's show them how this window goes in. So here's what I'm talking about. I mean, look at the car, okay? There's drilled holes here, and this was done when the car was painted because there's no exposed metal. When they painted the car, they didn't bother to do any, fill those in or any body work. See this? Crack, crack, and right here, this is broke. This is how this came in. There's no way to really fix this, and some type of metal bond is not really gonna do it. But what will help is we're gonna tape this off and then tape the seal, just like when you're putting in and gluing in a windshield. And we're gonna squeeze in that urethane in here, that glue, and then peel that back. Or before we peel it back, I have a releasing agent. And I'll just take my finger, just like caulking, and then we'll get a nice shape. And then once you pull that tape, pull it at like an angle, and you're basically cutting the excess of the glue on the tape. And then when that happens, that'll allow it some time to settle, and it'll have a nice appearance. So anyways, without further ado, we're gonna pop this sucker in place. Like I said, technically, this was supposed to go in place, but it ain't gonna happen. Anyways, and we gotta find our screws, and we got 1, 2, and 3. Lock those down, and see what I'm talking about? We pinch this, get some glue in here, and come all the way down the line and glue that in, okay? So while we're doing that, why don't you let those guys take a break? In place. All right, so like I said, it was, even though we took out the back seal, it was still too tight. This glass has a little contour, but even the original was just straight. And this is what I'm talking about. So we got this in there, okay? And coming at an angle is just a pain. So see that right there, all that slop? That's because we got to get that seal in there, okay? And that's the felt. And this guy's in place. It's all the way up here. That seal's going to slam up to here. We've already got it cut, our new one. So we are, and there's a stop in here that's not removable. So anybody that's familiar with this car, I think in 65 they might have changed it up, but we had a 61 Galaxy Ford 4 years earlier, or 3 years earlier, and those were rotted, but they were bolt-on for the stop, and it's just kind of a triangulated, and they were dipped from the factory, so we're able to recreate that and make that happen. So now, without further ado, we're in these clips, there's 2 to each side. They go up here, and there's support for this. But this is our corner, okay? Well, make sure that's up there. And then here, we're just going to fish that down. And then I've got a nylon, there we go, a nylon tool that I can use to run this thing through. That's not bad. Okay, and then our glass will basically come straight up. Okay, and there you go. And when that closes, comes in contact right here. So now at this point, we just got to put our clips in, pop the seal in, mount our 3 screws, and then we've got some weather strip black adhesive to bond that. And like I said before, we'll have the window down, and then while that, and that's nice and smooth. So while that, and everything's working now, opposed to before. Look at that. Now she's got a, see, I gotta mount this first. It's not all the way up there. But now she's gonna have a working vent window. So let's go ahead. We're gonna finish and get these things screwed in. There's our one hole. And that's it. So, anyways, hopefully that helps you out. That's about what it takes, or what's required on a 62, 64 Ford Fairlane as far as removing and installing these vent windows. And when you're removing it, be extra careful, because if you've got nice paint, you're going to scratch it up, or you could. All right, so anyways, thanks for watching. Hey, welcome to our 64 Ford Fairlane. We're rebuilding the hinges today. You want to come on in here. Really helps to have this door support. You have to remove the lower hinge first, leave the upper one in place. Now that we've got that out of the way, follow me, I'll show you what's going on. All right.
Okie dokie.
So this is our lower hinge, our driver's side. As you can see, we've got everything cleaned up, media blasted. We filed all the burrs, okay? This is our brand new kit. Comes with a new spring, comes with the pin and the brass bushings. Also comes with an extra pin and bushings for the top hinge, and that will be self-explanatory. These are the old ones you can see over the years. This is 61, 62 years old now. You can see where these have just reamed out. I was missing the upper spring, and then this, and by the way, you're going to have to get friendly with a torch, preferably something like this. With your vise and a friend, we heated up the knuckle. You'll notice there's no other entry back here. So this is pressed in here. So you have to heat this up here. Don't get it red hot, just a little bit. We took a big chisel like such and a hammer, locked it in here. If you want to pat around here so you don't scuff and ding your bracket, just for show quality, what you end up doing is hammering and focusing against the edge here. And actually we're pretty clean, right here. This is where we hit, right here, and we're able to force that entire thing out. So once that's out, we went ahead and media blasted everything. We're going to finish the assembly, and we're going to chase these threads, and then we're going to grease slightly where needed. You'll see that in a moment. And we're going to press and put this back together. And we're pressing these in. We just need to press this to where there's no slop, but they still have free movement. And then after that, we're going to wipe her down. We're going to paint it, and you got a brand new hinge. The only thing we need to do, you'll see this little tab here. That's for the spring. This goes in here. So we'll have to squeeze and muscle this. We don't want to paint this. If you paint this, it's going to crack, and it won't give the detail. And that's kind of nice to have, right? So, without further ado, let's get busy. Okay, so we've got, these things are pretty much fall in. Put a little bit of, just a little bit of grease on the outside. Don't hammer these in. Look at that, they just push right in. Take the other one here. Push that in as well. Just like that. This guy goes here. Okay. And our pin, let's see how that goes. I took some pictures of this. Okay, so this guy is like that, and we're hammering the pin out, so boom. just to make sure. So the pin, go ahead and grease up well. Get that in there up there. Make sure that goes through. Look at that. Now she's going to lock in the top up here. Okay? So then, we'll come over here, put that right there, and we'll probably do this. I don't want to directly hammer on that, because again, I'm just trying to keep a nice appearance. And then from there, she's partially in. Come over here. That always helps because we own this kind of stuff. So we're gonna get this thing stationary right about there. Okay, we'll build this up. This thing only comes down. I want to redo that. And then we're gonna take this pin here, lock that, and we're gonna press this in. So this thing is pneumatic, but we're not going to use that. And he did. Watch your fingers. And she is going in. You can take a little bit of grease and put that on the spline, that's fine. Okay, I need to back that off just a bit. Yeah, she's going. Just a little more. And she'll be in there. Reach for it. She's already snug. Okay. Alright, just a little bit more. And I think she is home. If you want to machine this to a dome, you could do that. And that'll, it's a little tight, but I'll go ahead and work this on the bench. Alright, back that off just a hair. That's the thing when you're doing this kind of stuff, you'll find yourself going kind of back and forth, so this is in the way. Alright, let's hold that. Get that out of the way. Just got to open that to clear the head. There we go, right there. Probably good to have somebody help hold this. Oh, here's another thing. You have to understand the mass of this pin, everything, when you're hitting. So if it's heavier than your hammer, you're not going to do anything because you're impacting. There you go. Still get some grease in there. All right. There we go, that's easier. And then we'll go ahead and lube that later. So there we go. Don't forget the door is going to go on there. So now the next step, I'm going to have to file and clean these things up. The next step is to install these. Make sure you're putting this all together correctly. That's the guy that goes in there, and again we can put a little bit of lube on there as we're driving that home. You'll have the splines from the previous. It's kind of nice to line them up as well. In fact, you can come in here. This will probably be easier. There she goes. I think we're better off on the press.
I think so.
Yeah, let's do that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and grease this guy up. Put that in there. Get a start here. Go ahead and just watch the fingers.
Money makers.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I used my brain to make money. Oh, that one's going in. Sweet. All right, we might be able to drive that one home. That lip lined up. A little bit more. No wonder. Okay, so it's bottoming out. Just a little more. That's good. And then we got to go press this in. And then these hammer marks here, just use a Ziz wheel with, say, one of these. That's a red, but I would use a green. And we can polish that off. And then go right into paint. Once that dries, and we'll go ahead and chase the threads on this. And this guy will go right back into there. So let's go finish this thing off and press this thing in. And then I got a little burr right here. Pieces here in an arbor press, so it makes your job easier. In fact, if I just go like that, and let's get this plate here, there we go. I'm just trying to get less travel. Okay, but you want it center, okay? That's important. Make sure you're plumb, that's why I wanted to start it. And then away she goes. She's going home. Okay.
That's almost touching.
I think that's enough. Yeah. I would say that's enough. I just need to lube that, and let's go put this in the vise. So before I do that, let me get something to grab this. All right, walk with me, talk with me. So, this is our freshly rebuilt piece. And again, this is for the upper. And there you have it. Voila. So we're gonna clean this up. In fact, why don't you guys go get yourself a cold one. Iced tea, whatever tickles your fancy. We're gonna clean this up, we're gonna paint this, but we're gonna get some lube in here. Wipe that down real good, give it a paint job, and we'll be right back. got some bigger needle nose. I'm locked in. Okay.
Easy, bud.
Yeah.
You gonna hold it?
Gotta get another one here to really unlock me. Went in, no problem. Okay, hey. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Got the detail. Gotcha! Now, here's something else I did. Check this out. Stuck a little grease over here. Check it out. Right here. So I can reveal. Oh yeah, look at that. So I can reveal the silver zinc coating. There we go. And there is your rebuilt hinge. Now this is just going to chop and chafe. So we got a product here. Let me grab. It's called T9. And it escapes me at the moment. Somebody grab that stuff?
Bill.
Yeah, you guys. Anyways, it was made for the automotive industry. It's called T9. Comes in a little white spray bottle. And if you spray that and let that soak on there, it helps to absorb into the metal so it doesn't rust. But there you go. Now, of course, I ain't gonna grab that and maneuver that. It's
Freshly painted.
and this is freshly painted, but there you have it. Anyways, one down, three more to go. One more like this, and then we got the two upper ones, which are forgiving. So, see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching American Garage TV. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share with a friend. Thanks for watching. Well, good morning. It's another day, another dollar. Last night we received, she doesn't know it yet, our customer, we received the replacement regulator. Now this is a driver's side, but it's for the rear quarter. This is a four-door. They don't repop them. Good luck finding one. They're not out there. In fact, I've been looking, and then all of a sudden I kept checking. This one came up, so I snapped it up. I assumed that this would be the same. So all I had to do was replace this. But the problem is, this is pressed in aluminum, so you really can't mess with that. You're not going to JB weld that. But if you look over here, see this? That's all waddled out, and that's part of the problem, and it's chewing up the gear. This one's intact, this one's fine. So you ask it, but this is part of, see this right here? Look. See how this elevates here and tapers down? It's the opposite here. So what happens is, if you look, the stud is, the spline shaft is at an angle. So what we're going to end up doing here is cutting this off around here. We're also going to cut over here, but we're going to cut a little downward. And then we'll grind and shape until we get this right where we need it. We're going to grind a chamfer all the way around. That means just like a 45-degree angle or so, slight. You don't want to leave the metal on the other side or your your piece that you're welding in paper thin. You just want a little groove in there, just slightly. And then you're going to tack that, and we're going to work it and make sure everything's fine, that this is pressed up against here, not too tight, because it's cutting in here on this one, and it's not here. So the other issue is, this is pressed in over here. We're going to grind to the back, pop out the pin, check out the pin. Right there. This pin's intact, and we got new rollers, so I don't care if we break this. But chances are this will not be like that, obviously, because if you look at the roller, which looks original, they came blue, but the other one was gone and it started to cut in. This is like somebody neglecting brakes over years, and you hear that metal to metal sound. Well, that's what's happening. And you went too far and it started to cut into your disc. You ruined it. It's gone forever. So we need to swap this out and the shaft, put in here, swap the pins, and then their spring, which is very similar, the same pretty much. There it is right there. This has one wind to go around. If anything, this is a little radius right there. where this went up against this plate there, okay, instead of that pin. In any case, they're probably equal. They're fine. We're going to media blast all that separately. Put it all together. Make sure everything is wiped and greased well. The roller works. Everything is full functional. When we get to that point, we're going to go ahead and throw some paint on it and then install or color done. So while we're doing that, we'll get back to you a little later. You smell that? Burning fingers.
So, what?
I gotta get that out of there. I don't want to have to pop that off, but I might. And then this right here has to come off. Basically one turn. So that comes off, right? That goes there. And you can see here. Oh, they're the same. They are the same. This one looks like it has less rust, so probably use that. That guy will go in there, and then boom. You need to come up. Now that's pressed in there. All right, so we do have to grind these out. Drill those out, pop them, and this has to come up from this angle. But it just sucks we couldn't do anything with this. This is actually pressed in there, or part of it. I don't know if it was a bushing or what. That's probably what it was. So we can actually stick that back on there. We'll have that gully and re-weld that. Let's see about that. That's probably the best thing to do. Yep. That fucker's going back in there. Oops.
I wanted to edit that out there, Jim.
Just so you know, this actually is a removable bushing. So once you drill out, and I know it's hard, you gotta go through the other side, and it's gonna be probably a pain in the ass. That'll be the worst situation or issue with this as far as the rebuild is concerned, because now I put this paper in here so it wasn't rubbing. Okay, that's number one. And we're good. Number two, I put in the old stem to align this. We've already pressed in the new bushing, so we're good there. I'm just going to sand and smooth that around. And I stitch welded that, as you can see. So we're just going to smooth that over like it never existed. And then we're going to now, because there's also an angle you have to understand. So I don't know if you could see that. So that's important. Now he cleaned out the new stem, which is right here. We didn't want to take this apart. We'll grease that up. Okay, so that stem will go right up in there. Line up with the teeth. As it should, right there. Grease it up. Line up the holes. There we go. And we've got rivets. That one's a given. We can get that one. This and this be a little difficult. And then once that's done, actually what we're going to do now is we're going to grind this, shape it, media blast that and the spring, and then we can actually throw some paint on it, let it dry. We're going to grind this off. Same thing with this pin. We're going to release it, get the roller off, and then we're going to put that new pin in here and make sure that, well, actually that clips to the back, so that'll work. Doesn't matter if it's like a few thousandths off. Not going to matter. But anyways, we're moving right along. So just so you know, because this is the first time I went in here, just wasn't thinking about that being removed. So my bad, but hey, chalk it up to experience. But in any case, you don't need to cut that off. But we got that right back in there. And again, when we grind and shape, you'll see that later. All right, well, go grab a cool one, as I always say, and we'll be right back. There she goes. Do the same for the other one and press it in, and then we'll do a rosette weld. That one's gone. Okay. Where's that lubricant of ours?
The suspension grease?
Well, we got a new one. Yeah, because I got to get this guy out. Shut her off.
Stopper?
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Now, media blast. We're going to paint everything, and then we'll pop the little transmission gear drive here on. Okay? All right. Get busy. It's in there. All right. Now, let's get the spring on. And that's it. Holy crap, she works. Look at that. put this in too tight because it'll bend that. Oh my God, is that supposed to turn? It's not supposed to do that, is it? There it is. All right, Gail. It's the last one left on the planet like this. Wow, look at that, brand new. All right, well, now we're gonna go put it in. That's the easy part. Catch you on the next video. Thanks again for watching. Wow, dude, it's all yours now. All right, buddy, let's see if our open heart surgery paid off. So far, there we go, there we go, there we go. And I'll go up. Feel that spring help? Oh, shoot. Damn. Are you kidding me?
It works, don't it, bud?
We made it work? Damn.
That's it, you're fired.
That's it, you're fired.
That shit will get you fired.
Well, look what we have here. So this is our current progress on the 64 Fairlane. We've got our seal back in, our visor, or actually our rain diverter. Our window is now functional, our wing window. We're gonna go to the other side and I'll show you. This is where she cracked, as I mentioned. So we're gonna need to clamp that. You can see that kind of go in. And we're gonna tape this off and then urethane glue that. Our felts are installed and we're just waiting on a supplier to find the regulator. Otherwise, I don't know what we're gonna do because they don't make them. And they're extremely rare. Hers is done. So this is the passenger side. Keep in mind, this is the one that we had to replace. The stem was broke. Look at that. After all the Lord only knows how many years, all new seal, she is now fully functional. And then we also needed a spacer for the other side. We've got the new door handles working. Up, hey. And let me get this. These new handles, a lot of times they're just kind of rolling on that stem, but look at that. Whoa, it's kind of hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time. And our window is now completely redone with all new felts, channels, the felt seal, the seal around the perimeter. We've got our clips reinstalled and she shuts. And we've got our rain diverter. So now she's back up and running. And then we went ahead and fixed the battery leads, and they were just bad. Again, this is 64, so it probably came out, I don't know, November of 63. So it's been around the block. We're gonna re-bleed the brakes and double check our suspension. We already came back from alignment, so that will conclude our 64 Fairlane repairs. AKA Gramps.
Telegram from Mr. Billery.
Yeah.